Well, since we're doing nothing around camp and waiting for our stew there to warm up for breakfast leftovers, we thought we'd do a little bit of talk about the trails we did yesterday and the day before. So on Tuesday we did Gold Mountain, and then we did all of John Bull, Little John Bull and Big John Bull.
Right.
And then yesterday we did Holcomb Creek backwards. And what did you think of Gold Mountain this time around?
I still don't like Gold Mountain. I mean, it's an easy enough trail for most, but I have an issue with the waterfall sections.
The second obstacle.
Yeah. I mean, the first one I did the easy side. I don't want to break my shit. I can't afford to break my shit. But, I mean, it's a nice trail in the fact that there's nobody on it. The thing about Gold Mountain is all the loose rock, the shale, I guess it is.
Sharp.
Sharp?
It's sharp.
Oh, yeah.
They're sharp. They're
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. But for the most part, there's only those two obstacles. We missed the...
we went the bypass of the boneyard entirely.
Yeah, I don't even know where that part was, so I was...
Well, you knew where it was last time?
No, I knew the big one, the first one that we used to do.
Yeah.
That is no longer there. But there's another one that I've seen pictures of.
No, that's the same boneyard. It's the same. You just took me to where we shouldn't have been.
Oh.
We should have. You kind of like you switch back out.
I've seen pictures of people zigzag.
Yeah, you just switch back.
All right,
It's the
well,
same
in any
boneyard.
case, Gold Mountain, I just...
When Jennifer was not telling me to go to the wrong way, I drove through everything. Gold Mountain, no problem.
Yeah, you did. You drove over everything.
And after Gold Mountain, Little John Bull was more challenging, I thought, before. This time it wasn't. I mean, it was I would say an intermediate trail.
Yeah.
Little John Bull.
Yeah.
You could do it. You could do it stock with the stock rig for sure.
Stuff,
but before it used to have some. It was pretty good, but now
it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, the trail's always changed.
And John Bull was a good Big John Bull.
Yeah, I got a little weird on some parts.
You got a little toad
I got a little
hoppy
wonky.
and three wheeling and one wheel waving.
But I didn't have to get strapped on anything.
No, but I had to hang on to your.
I have to make exciting video.
Oh, we didn't get that on video, thank goodness.
Oh.
Yeah, that probably would have looked scary as hell.
Well, when it's only the two of us, we do what we gotta do. I'm sorry.
You picked some crazy lines.
You know, it was by accident.
Yeah, I'm all like, how does she even get in this shape? How do you even get here?
I got a little squirrely going up it, and I didn't see where it was going. I know. I gotta keep you on your toes.
Oh, no, you're going to give me a heart attack. What you're going to do? Oh, yeah, she scares me sometimes.
But,
on Gold Mountain, she scared me this trip. And we've done Gold Mountain so many times.
John Bull.
I'm sorry, John Bull.
I know. But, in the terms of the actual trail, I mean, it was just like any of the times. It has its challenges, and it has.
Yeah, the boulder's been moved around on
Yeah.
John Bull a little bit. It's got its challenges.
'Cause the last time we did it, we just walked right up the gatekeeper.
I walked right up it.
Well, you walk right up everything. I don't know.
Well, because you picked. I don't know.
I followed your line.
Don't follow my line. Pick your line, and you pick some weird lines.
That one ended up weird.
Uh-huh.
But I did good now on Holcomb Creek.
Ooh, yesterday Holcomb Creek. Holcomb Creek's a challenging trail. Don't do Holcomb Creek stock.
No, like I said, yeah, you definitely have to have rails to do these trails.
Rails and Holcomb Creek, you want to be.
Got to have some kind of a little bit of lift.
And if you're in a four-door, you probably even want better than 35s.
Yeah, 'cause there's some tight little
Yeah, if you're in a
turns
four-door,
that
you're
you
going to
can
want
get.
37s at least.
But
It's
I do like Holcomb.
Holcomb's messy in the middle. Boy, that middle rock garden has gotten it's a challenging rock garden.
And it usually is.
No,
by,
I mean
by most means, it usually is
you
a
talking
mess.
years ago though. It used to be no. It's
All the times I've been through it, we've always had a mess. Cause
in the
it's
middle
just
rock
gets,
garden.
Yeah, because it's when it's wet and
Oh
slippery.
yeah. Well,
And that's usually the times that we hit it.
I've always had very little difficulty with that middle rock garden till this recently. It's been more difficult for me.
Huh.
All the other times, everybody gets wet, so it's slippery. So if you don't pick your spots and use a little momentum, you can have a very difficult time there. And I've always found that middle rock garden not that big of a deal. I always thought
Just that one area where we're at has always been the tough area.
yeah, it was tough for you again
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah, I mean, I made it through the whole thing until that one area.
And I had to do some landscaping, get dirty.
Yeah. But, again, I did not need to be strapped. Or winched, or pulled.
And you drove through everything.
I was able to get it out on my own.
Well, not on your own. You had somebody
Well-
building bridges for you. Moving mountains.
Mountains, my butt.
Reshaping the trail for you.
You put a few boulders.
Oh my goodness, about 20 few.
I needed to get your exercise. 'Cause you're just, cruising along.
I'm going to have to get stuck somewhere for you to stack boulders for me. Hey, you.
I've done that.
When?
No, maybe not with you.
Okay, thank you.
I have. I've
I'm-
helped people change tires.
I'm pretty
I've
good
helped
at
people do stuff.
I try hard not to get stuck.
Well, I don't want to try to get stuck.
I know.
Because I don't want you to yell at me.
Yeah, I would say Gold Mountain, doable stock. You can do it stock for sure. It's a bumpy ride. Once you get through the two obstacles, the secondary challenge of Gold Mountain is getting off the end of the trail. It's a very, even with all our suspension, it was a bumpy ride.
Bumpy.
It's a bumpy
I
ride.
found myself doing a lot of this.
Yeah, it's a very slow,
Ryder was hanging on for dear life.
bumpy ride. Little John Bull was it was a little more smooth. What's nice about Holcomb Creek is you have, like Jennifer loves it, because you have your obstacle, and then it kind of has a nice smooth run, so you get to enjoy Holcomb Creek, and it's coming back. Holcomb Creek's really, since the fire about 9 years ago, I think there was a fire 10 years ago.
Something like that, yeah.
So it's really starting to show some recovery. Now you're starting to see it, 10 years later. And it's getting pretty again, and it's nice to have, and it's more softer soil, so it's smoother. Maybe you get some whoops here and there, but
Although it has some off-camber areas going over that stuff.
yeah, it does have still some off-camber Holcomb Creek.
Yeah, there was a little section that I went over just a little bit too fast, and it just, oh, yeah, I need to slow down a little bit. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of off-camber stuff. And then that's going down into, like, the creek.
Yeah,
But, I like that trail.
yeah, I wouldn't run Holcomb stock.
No. I wouldn't run any of these stock.
I did them all.
Well, that's because you can just drive over shit.
I did everything but John Bull. I did everything but Gold
Most
Mountain. I didn't do Gold Mountain. I did John Bull and Holcomb Creek stock, didn't I? Yeah, I did Holcomb Creek stock. I'm pretty sure.
Did you?
I'm pretty sure. We did it backwards. We came up it.
I don't think we did John Bull stock because
Oh, I'm certain I did John Bull stock. I'm positive. Because the Marines were down at the bottom of the hill.
Oh, we came the other way.
Yeah, we
came
went backwards.
Yes, backwards. Yeah, you were scraping on everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of scraping stock.
Doing John Bull backwards is a lot easier.
I don't know about easier.
I think it
well,
was. You have gravity.
Well, you crack me up though, because this gatekeeper on this end of John Bull, the back end, used to be a lot harder. I think the back end gatekeeper now is
Well,
almost
now,
nothing.
yeah, now it's
It used to going backwards used to be
yeah, it used to
challenge
be
very
tough.
yeah, it used to have
Yeah.
its own separate challenges.
Now rocks got moved. And,
It's not as yeah, it used to be much getting out of John Bull was going up it
yeah,
from this back end used to be a lot more of a challenge.
but it
Everything
changes.
changes every
Yeah,
season,
it changes all
every
the
winter.
time.
I don't particularly. I my build was built for those trails, John Bull, Holcomb Creek. Those are the two trails that I pretty much, and both of those were for the reason of we like to go to the Rubicon. So that's the extent of what I was building for. I wasn't. I don't want to be a buggy doing King of the Hammers or
No.
any. You know, I'm not really overly entertained by climbing over boulders like that for the pure purpose of I like doing trails, I like doing runs, and I built pretty much my build off of the experience of having wheeled with Jan and then doing my own stuff and the pickups and you know dirt bikes and that experience. I wanted to be able to do trails like John Bull and Holcomb Creek pretty much by myself, just drive through them. And I can do, when I do John Bull by myself, it takes me about 35 minutes to do John Bull, either way. And yesterday, the two of us, it took an hour and 15 minutes, I think.
Minute?
Yeah, I think it took us an hour and 15 minutes yesterday to do John Bull. So that's the difference of, you know, and then you, whenever you go like with the groups, you can extrapolate that even farther. That's why it takes, sometimes a group can take 4 hours getting through John Bull. And it's only 4 miles, I believe.
Yeah, that's because people get hung up and
Right.
you
So
don't hurry and wait.
there's a big difference in time on trail by your experience. So if you hear a lot of guys will always, you know, on the forums, the guys always be, well, I do that trail, this, that, I do the Rubicon in 1 day. What do you guys take 4 days? You're crazy. This, well, yeah, if you have a lot of experience, a buggy or a really nice, you know, your rig's built right, and you're just out for a drive, Sunday drive, and you drive through everything, you go through stuff a lot faster than when you have a group and a lot of people are getting hung up and everybody. So, I don't know. Take it with a little trepidation when you hear in the forums people are going, "Oh, the experience runs only. Everybody must have lockers," or you know. Sometimes it's just because they don't want to spend all day on the trail stacking rocks
Right. Yeah.
and
even when you
strapping
have a
up,
group,
and
it takes a lot longer.
those runs. When you see somebody putting together a newbie run for like a John Bull trail, and if you're a newbie, jump on that.
Right,
Jump
it's
on
fire.
that because it's gonna definitely everybody's prepared to be on trail for 4 or 5 hours. There are going to be a lot of straps and winching and tugging, and that particular run is set up and geared for that. Everybody knows what they're doing and knows why they're there. Now, when you have somebody saying they're an experienced run, it's more they're going to go out, run the trail, stop, have a barbecue picnic, couple beers. They don't want to spend all day getting dirty stacking rocks. They want people that can drive the trail, enjoy it, but not get stuck. So that's, you know, that you just have to appreciate that sometimes you're not always going to be invited to an experience run until you learn and gain. I mean, Jennifer wouldn't go by herself on any of these trails
no.
still. And Jennifer's been wheeling for years. And I've done John Bull by myself already a few times. It's not, it doesn't, that's what I'm built to run. John Bull to me is a normal drive in the Jeep. That's what the Jeep was built for. That's, if I want to go out there and stretch your legs, that's a good trail to do it. But everybody's not built like that. Even us two together, like on the Rubicon, we were way faster than, there was only a group of 3 in front of us, and we caught them easily. And then there was another group of 12, and it was kind of entertaining on that trip because the trail ranger or trail stewards or, you know, they adopt the trail guy stopped us and was BSing with us and says, "Oh, you're gonna catch and pass up these guys, and then you're gonna catch and pass up those guys," and we're all like, we're going slow, we're videoing, we're
just
really
taking our
taking
time.
our time.
Yeah.
And he laughed. He goes, "You'll catch him, you'll see." Because he asked us, you know, have you? Oh yeah, we've done it. We've done it 3 times now. At that time point, we had done it already twice, and sure as we got him, and we passed him.
Yeah, bigger groups just take longer.
4 doors take longer. Everybody, I don't know. I see some of these videos now. People talking, oh yeah, the 4-door better, and the Rubicon. I said, we've done it, and we did it the last time, or the time before last. We had basically, what was it, like 5 2-doors, 4 2-doors?
Like 4 2-doors, and the rest were 4 doors.
And like 5 4-doors. I think we had 10 or 12. 12, so it was like 5 2-doors and 7 4-doors.
Something like that.
And so that we basically broke into 2 groups because there's no way the 4-doors keep up with the 2-doors. And we were constantly waiting. So when we split from Buck Island to Rubicon Springs, I think we beat the 4-doors almost by an hour. The 2-doors.
Yeah, because it's a tight little trail.
And we didn't get hung up. We didn't stop. Everybody, we only had one inexperienced 2-door, so for the most part, it was smooth sailing. The 4-doors, not so much, and these were not. These were built these are yoked out rigs. No, not one of them was stock. They were all.
It was a tight.
You're talking
tight
rigs on
trail.
40s. They were big. They had some big tires. Those that one orange Jeep was on
40.
37s for sure. Everybody was built though. Shoot, I think we were one of the few on 35s. Because the other Jeeps had 37, the 2-doors too, didn't they?
Well, the first one didn't. It was the little Jeep.
Yeah, I don't remember everybody's tire sizes.
Yeah.
But I can say that the 2-doors were way quicker than the 4-doors.
It's definitely a 2-door trail. But for the most part, we do good. Get through everything. I try to. I still have issues, but
You still, I mean, that's what I mean. The experience level, just because we've been wheeling so many years, you're still at an intermediate wheeling experience. You have certain things you are very skilled at, but other things you're still learning and struggling with.
right.
You don't learn, and we wheel a lot.
Yeah.
We don't go out just twice a year. We're out a lot. It was
I
hard.
think a lot of it too is I'm afraid I don't want to break anything.
Well, yeah, you're always cognizant. You're
So,
trying not to break.
yeah.
And you have you like to go full throttle. I know you say you don't, but your tires spinning say you're a different story. So, however you want to explain how once you got all 4
Alright, let's
tires
just
and no
agree
grip.
to disagree. And move on from there.
So it takes a lot of throttle control. There's a lot of things to learn when you're wheeling of momentum, utilizing the vehicles, all of the different little things you have, lockers and all that. Utilizing where to use it, how to use it. It takes a lot of time. It's not just, you don't just buy a Jeep and hit all these trails in it. The Jeep, especially the JL, really can make you from a novice to intermediate pretty quick, because the JL is a very excellent platform to start with. I know the older guys in their older Jeeps, they're gonna say, you know, this and that and the other. They've made improvements.
They have.
You know,
It's definitely changed a lot. Especially even when the JK came out, that was a big improvement compared to the predecessor.
Predecessor?
TJ. Yeah. The TJ. Big difference there. And now with the JL to the JK, again, there's a big difference.
So it is. It's a good beginner's platform, the JL.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of
It drives really nice on and off road.
And stock, you can do 85, 90%. I mean, I would say you could do 100% of the trails, because I'll drag myself
think
over.
In terms of most people.
Yeah, no, you can do most everything you want in a stock jail.
I think as long as you have rails, you're fine.
Yeah, you got to get some rock rails though. So as long as you can be drug over, I would get a little belly protection too. Those are always my first two recommendations: rock rails and a skid of some sort. On the jails, a bunch of different manufacturers. I like the smaller ones, the bigger ones that cover everything.
That's too much weight.
I think it's too much weight. The smaller ones, because most of your stock stuff's pretty well protected. They had some weak spots, and the smaller ones I think took care of that.
Yeah.
And for the most part, man, get some little skids and little rock rails and get you some straps. And if you can't make it over, somebody will drag you over.
Which is why you should at least have somebody else with you.
Yeah, that's why you don't go by yourself. And so long as you can be drug over something with somebody else and strap you up and drag you over, you'll get through.
Right.
That's why it's nice for us on the video. I think it gives it a little contrast of us two doing it. I think a lot of people see me drive through things and they think, oh, man, that looks like...
That's easy. I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Then here comes Jennifer. Oh, maybe not.
And I haven't been Jeeping all my life. What I started out in was a two-wheel drive Ford Ranger.
Right.
Single cab, little tiny pickup, and that I started in that. Then I moved up to...
I've been doing it for 13 years now. Like I said, like you said, it's just... It's changed.
That's why I laugh when Jennifer first we got together. She goes, "We don't know how to four-wheel drive." I said, "Yeah, I know. We went everywhere in a two-wheel drive. You guys go in Jeeps." We took our little pickup. We had to get out, and we had to shovel. We had to put rocks. We had to do a lot more of that, but we went.
You were
And I was young.
good boys, and you did crazy stuff.
But you learn how to wheel.
Yeah.
That's why I said, well, yeah, I don't know how to four-wheel. Oh, my God, you guys are spoiled. You got all these things, these buttons, and all the wheels turn. Oh, my God. Wow. I just drive my lazy boy with wheels now.
Which you now love so much.
Oh, I love my rig. I built my rig very much the way I had I think it's very important to plan your build.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Let's see, are we still recording?
I don't know.
I better double check. We talked a long time. Oh yeah, still going 23 minutes on. But where was I? Oh, I'm planning your build. A build can nickel and dime you to death.
Yeah.
It's gonna be you start. Oh, I'm just gonna I want bigger tires. So oh shoot, I gotta get a spacers. I gotta get what do you put those things on your springs? Those little pucks or whatever, spacers. Then you put the wheel spacers because your tires are too big, they're gonna rub. And you do all these nickel and dime little things, and then you go wheeling and you find, oh my God, these other guys, wow, they got. So then you say, oh, okay, I need this, and you just buy control arms, but you only buy the rear lowers, front lowers, rear uppers. So you can twist your axle housing a little bit, so you can keep that, what do you call that, pinion, or your drive shaft to your.
That's your pinion angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's like, and I didn't know anything when we first did it, and I learned.
So what happens is you buy, if you're trying to budget build, you're going to buy inferior product. Not necessarily inferior. They're
cheap.
They are budget. They're budget. You're going to get when you budget build, you're going to get a budget build. You buy, you get what you pay for. They're not. Right. I'm not going to say they're trying to sell you. They're saying they're as good as a very expensive part when it's a much less expensive part. It's good for what it costs and what you're probably trying to do with your rig. My build, I knew I was not gonna. The big tires thing doesn't really turn me on. I really thought hard before I stepped up to 35s. I was very much considering staying on 33s and staying that size, but I like to do John Bull and I like to do Holcomb Creek, and that stock, they're a little too.
You have to balance out the height compared to your center of gravity. You want to have a lower center of gravity, but still have enough height
clearance.
Yeah, enough clearance to get over stuff. So it's a good balance. That's why I've been happy with the 35s.
Yeah, for the 2-door,
Yeah,
it's perfect.
plus I have a 4-inch lift on mine, so I don't want to go any more than that because
And,
then you start getting.
That's why I laughed.
You
They
know-
called what a medical called mine a 2.5 lift, 2.5-inch lift. But they said we're calling it a 2.5-inch lift. But I think I got almost 4 out of it, 3.5, 4 inches.
Yeah, the way that they call that lift is just so weird. But yeah, you want to make sure that you have a lower center of gravity, so that way you don't have the option of when you're going over rocks and obstacles of tipping over and being, back heavy, top heavy. You gotta balance it out.
That's why, if you notice, we don't run any roof racks, any rooftop tents, anything on.
Oh, that's too much. That'd be too much weight up there.
We've had experience. We've loaded the top, and we used to wheel with one Jeep, and it's just it inhibits your ability to
Wheel correctly. It just.
cross rough terrain smoothly. It's much more of a chore. I mean, it's much more demanding. You're top
too
heavy,
top-heavy.
so you're gonna like that tree that I showed you on John Bull that has all the marks on it. That's the longer Jeeps and the higher Jeeps. When that boulder throws you over, it throws you into the tree.
Right.
So you want to be. We very much pack the 2 rigs. Everything in our 2 rigs can fit in one. It's loaded down one rig, but it fits. The idea now, the 2 rigs, is all our loads spread out in 2 vehicles, pretty equally, and that way we're weight-wise, it's low and over the axles. We put everything heavy behind the seats, right over the axles, and then the lighter stuff up from that. That way, when you wheel, you have that nice center of gravity. You're very stable, and you can feel it. You really feel very comfortable in your rig. Once you start putting stuff above and up on top, like even we don't like to wheel with the gas cans full. That's a long trip. We'll put the gas cans, fill them up before we wheel. We'll put that fuel into the tank. That way they're empty. You don't have that weight high in that.
Yeah, you have a lot of it rocky. Yeah.
And it really can be makes a difference on the trail. You know that.
It.
Yeah.
When you're wheeling, driving your Jeep as long as you have, you feel. I mean, hell, we feel a difference just when we take the doors off.
Yeah.
You can feel a difference in weight on how it drives.
Yeah, the lighter you can wheel, the better.
There's a person walking over there.
Well, yeah,
So, you think we've done enough of our interview?
maybe we bullshitted give you a 30-minute show there,
I
one
guess
hole.
that's how bored we are today.
Well, it's content, talking about, trails and stuff we've done, why we build. Oh, I didn't finish saying about planning your build. Like, my build was fairly expensive. I would say it's not, you can go really more crazy than I went. And, but it was built for the style of trails. That's the objective I had. And then still I'll continue to tweak it and play with bumpers and fenders and, lights eventually. I'm not a big, 2 years I have not added one light to my, I have no light bars. I have no.
I think, we don't do night wheeling.
I know we do. We get to camp at dark sometimes.
Yeah, but like I said, for the amount of time that we've been doing it, how often have we needed to have light bars? I mean, hell, even my lights, I even have lights, even though they're intermittently working.
Well, yeah, because we still chasing gremlins in your Jeep.
I haven't used it very often. We haven't had the need to.
Yeah, next to never.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we use your spots
I think
twice.
the only reason why I got them is they were on sale and they looked cool.
Yeah, I don't have any lights. Not a.
I did do night runs back in the day, though. We did night runs.
Lockers before light bars.
Right. But I had that. But yeah.
Well, when you plan your build,
you need to figure out what you want to do.
Exactly. So when you
How
plan your build, you're gonna be able to track your expenditures because you're gonna know the extent to what you want to build for.
Right.
If you want to build a buggy rock crawler, well, you're gonna have to start with that in mind, and then you purchase everything once. if you want to build like my Jeep and think you're going to be a buggy rock crawler, well, you're not. That's why you watch all these bigger channels. The Jeeps just keep getting bigger and bigger, and V8 swaps, and they're just no longer. But I mean, it's fun and entertaining, and if you got the money to burn, then that's great.
There we go.
It's a fun hobby, but a lot of us don't have that kind of money to burn. So I think it's important to plan your build, and like they say, cry once, because it's going to be expensive. If you're going to build it right one time, then you're not building it 3 times. Because over the long run,
But at that time, I had a lot of connections.
You've got quite the Frankenstein. I think I have a Frankenstein build.
Like I said, I've never been off-roading. I've never been jeeping. I learned a lot. But I had a lot of connections. I got a lot of connections.
You have a
And I started out
definite Frankenstein.
piecing it here and there. But now that I have it to where it's all one manufacturer for the most part. For the most part. Maybe 2.
It's not always all about just being one manufacturer. It's just
still,
your build.
It's all how I want it.
Your build evolved. Your build wasn't. It evolved into what your Jeep is.
Yeah.
That's very expensive usually.
Usually, yeah, but I had different circumstances.
But still, even with your circumstances, it ends up being.
I don't even want to know how much money I put into it.
Exactly.
And
how
have
much
no idea.
time I've been putting into retweaking all the Frankenstein of the he was kind of he had a lot of hands on.
He needed to be brought back to
So
life.
it's kind of that's the other thing too. When you have a bunch of different hands on a vehicle, you get a bunch of different ideas. You really can get a quirky vehicle because it's got too many different ideas.
Yeah.
It's better you have one or one shop, I would say maybe, but and have you have to have a mental picture and to save money. It sounds like it's going to be way more expensive because you see all the prices of the good stuff, but that's going to save you money because it's going to cost you a small fortune because you're going to buy you're going to buy 3 different lifts instead of just one. And you're going to eventually end up with that expensive lift that you wouldn't buy in the first time.
Right.
You're going to buy that at the end.
Yeah.
So why not just buy that at the beginning?
I know that's what's hard. It deals with what you can afford at the time.
Well, I think what you can afford and what you want is 2 different things.
Yeah.
It's if you want just big tires and to look cool, well, all right.
Well, there's more to it. You got
Exactly.
It's more than just springs and shocks. 'Cause you have to have a certain geometry. So in terms of your adjustable track bar and drag link, because once you start lifting it, everything changes. And so
change
now
all
you
of it.
have to
Gets
adjust
all new parts.
everything.
All new. And then don't it's hard. I think sometimes you watch a lot of YouTube channels and there's a lot of different advice and different things. And I'd advise be careful when you watch. If people are getting stuff and they give you things and if it's good product, it's nice. You endorse it or whatever. You got it to make a YouTube video. But pay attention to the builds. And that if they're throwing a boatload of money at stuff, you kind of wonder. It's a lot of sponsored gear, and it's a lot of money. So you have to, if you plan it, build it once. Don't have an evolutionary build.
It's just hard.
An evolutionary build's fun, I guess, to learn or whatever. It's very expensive. Because I have many different brands on my truck, but everything it was picked for a purpose.
Right.
And
It's just hard. I think you just need to, at least with a lot of new people, wheel it stock just to
learn what it can
about
do.
your Jeep and how you drive it. And then after you do that, you decide what you want to do from there. And then you go into your build. So at the very least, like you said, the rails.
Right, that's what I would say first.
Yeah.
Get rock rails and
Yeah.
some type of skid.
It's just like
And
different.
when
for
you see the
everybody.
prices of those, you're gonna be, and I still can't put bigger tires. Not yet.
Yeah, it's a hobby. Unless, like I said, unless you have money, it's a hobby that's going to take time. But at least with that time, you can actually still go out
and
and
learn.
learn and do trails and explore and enjoy nature.
And I think we're more. There's a lot of people that just trailer a rig and
Do the big hard things.
go do the trail, the name
Yeah,
trail, and then they trailer the rig back home.
No, I like to go out and explore and enjoy nature and like I said, camp and
Always be careful following a guy that's trailered his rig,
Yeah,
because
right.
that guy doesn't really care if he breaks.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna get you to drag him back to his trailer, and then he's gonna trailer it home. And those guys do a lot of crazy stuff. When you have to drive yourself home and drive that rig home, that's why I like that one, the sticker. Remember, idiot, you got to drive this home.
Drive us home.
It makes you have to. They'll break. No matter, even if you build it to the hilt, like these guys that do King of the Hammers, they break their rigs on King of the Hammers. They're built for it. They spend 120,000, 200,000 on those rigs, and they break them.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't want to. I'm kind of leery on some of the stuff now because I can't afford to fix it if I break it.
And I broke a lot of stuff on mine already.
Yeah, so you gotta pay to play, and that's what we do. You just gotta have that mentality of how hard do you want to play, because you gotta break it.
That's what. Well, I have a. That's why I was very upset that one, and we still kind of tease about that. The first time we did go mountain, it got broken because I had mentioned many, many times we're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
This isn't the way.
Yeah,
You can
well,
tell this is not the way.
We've learned now that I'm not gonna say to go where we're not supposed to go. Because again, I should have known trails change.
Well, not only trails change, but it
Well,
was
no, it changed. That's what it is. Trails change.
the signs
And
were
there's
obvious
the
that
fact
there was
that
no
it's
longer.
been so long that we've been there that nobody goes there anymore, and I wasn't being as.
It's not that nobody goes there anymore. It's closed.
I know. Well, there's no barrier.
Well, there's no barrier because it's closed. You don't. You look. There's no. Nobody goes. There's no trouble. There's no rubber.
Okay. All right. Again.
All right. We won't get into that fight. But that's when I broke. The one time that I didn't. That's when I broke. I'm pretty good at. I pick where I want to go, where I'm going to go, what I can do, and I know what I'm built to do. So be careful who you let lead you places.
I'm sorry. I could only apologize to him.
I know I'm not. I'm just saying to the
Yeah.
YouTube.
I know. I hear you.
Because you can go, no matter how built you are, you can go to a trail and break your stuff. No matter how much money you spend on your rig, you can go break your stuff. It's very, very easy to do. A lot easier to break it than not break it. Let's put it that way.
Right.
It takes a lot more skill to keep your stuff put together and in good shape and get through the trails. You're more brains than those other big things that guys like to play with.
I don't know if guys like to play with him.
But I'm just saying it takes
Right.
it takes a lot more skill to be able to get through a trail unscathed. Not unscathed, but to make it. So, you watch. I just watched those guys, the Dirt Everyday guys, and they took an old Chevy truck and an old Jeep, and them things were falling apart the whole trail. They were fixing them and catching on fire, and doing. But they had two old vehicles. They knew they were gonna beat up, and they knew hummingbird. They knew they were gonna, and they got them through. It takes more skill to get them through the trail than to just say, "Oh, let's keep banging up this big rock till we break it, obliterate it, till there's no going no more." There's not much skill in that.
Well, just like say you're
There's
on a
just
trail.
a lot of skinny pedal.
Even if you're on an easy trail, shit can happen. I mean, you have to pay attention to everything because you can just not look for a second. And
look
something.
at these guys on Cleghorn that drive off the edge of Cleghorn.
Yeah, it's like you could just not be paying attention and something can happen. So you always have to have that mentality of anything could happen on a trail. Easy to really hard. So there's always that skill that, like I said, that skill that you're talking about that you have to maintain. You have to have that focus on a trail. And that's what's kind of hard too about when you're on a trail, is to be able to enjoy your surroundings, because you have to have that focus and that mentality that you will, because trails change, and you have to have the whole balance of keeping that all together.
Well, it's I think two styles of wheelers too. There's those guys that go out, and if they don't break it, they're not trying hard enough.
Right. Yeah, that's not the kind of people I want to be with.
So you have to be. You want to go. You want to get with groups that wheel, and there's a lot of the clubs are a very good place to start if you're brand new, because they're more patient. They're more newbie runs. For me, they're quite boring because they're slow. They're
but how else you gotta have?
That's what I'm saying.
learn?
For newbies, they're good because you need that pace. It's because you're learning, and you want to be out here and enjoying the scenery, and not death grip on the steering wheel because you're on the worst trail you ever seen in your life. So to start, it's kind of, I think that's the best way to go when you're a newbie. You get into a club, get into and you may grow out of it eventually, but for the start, that's a good place to start. Sometimes it's a very social atmosphere. If you like a social life of that, then meet friends, a lot of neat people. It's neat with everybody has a common hobby.
Right.
So that's very neat to get in a club. Why we don't do too much club things is very time consuming. Everything's longer. Everything, like I said, I can do this trail in 35 minutes. Jen and I do it in an hour and 15 minutes. Add another couple, 4 or 5 Jeeps, it's a 2 or 3 hour trip. 15 Jeeps, you're 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, that's all day.
So you start, everything gets longer. Everything's very much more involved in time and effort. I have to stack rocks for one Jeep. Jennifer, if I have to stack rocks for a whole group, and getting, a lot of people, when you get in the newbies too, they just want to drive, and everybody else is support. You have to, and it's nice that you have people that will support and stack rocks and do that stuff for you. But then you also have to learn to get out of your Jeep, and you're going to go stack rocks for other people.
Yeah.
And you're going to start learning this. If you're not spotting, you're helping moving boulders. You can, if somebody's stacking rocks, you go grab rocks and carry them over to him, so he can stack them to where he knows how to. At least you bringing him boulders. So there's and then there's a whole group of people. Oh my God, that'll say if you're stack rocks, you shouldn't even be on the trail then if you got to stack rocks.
Yeah, I've learned. I used to wheel with people like that too. I've wheeled with them. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we kind of got to the point where we like it to where it's just the two of us.
There's
I mean, it's nice when we have a couple of others that join us.
5, I think, for us
group.
is like a max group 5. Even that.
And I used to do a lot of the big runs, and I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it here and there. And I learned a lot, and I met a lot of people, and I like to be able to help other people because I was there. I get it. I know. And I know how excited you are. And I want that excitement to continue to grow to these newbies and have them, take what they learn and pass that on to other new people, because
I don't want them to go broke, so that way you can keep Jeepin.
But there's more and more people that are doing it, and at least if they know how to do it, you don't have a bunch of stupid people on the trail. You're teaching them how to, from your experience, and you're passing that on, and in turn they pass that on to others.
So we'll do 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah.
We wanted to do one here, but the virus killed our second run plans.
Right. But
I
know, and we needed to get out.
Yeah, we're quarantined, and we're what do you call it when we're social distancing?
We're social distance, self-isolating.
Yeah, we're self-isolating. We've been staying put, not moving. And finally, we said, all right, we're going to, what is it, like 6 weeks, 5 weeks we haven't moved?
Yeah, I know. It was to the end of March to the beginning of May.
Yeah, so it was a good run there. Couple months.
I figure since they kind of eased things up a little bit, that we can at least, just us go out and be in the middle of nowhere.
It's just us two. We haven't. Only thing we did publicly was fuel up, and we did groceries at home and fuel at home. And then we fueled up here, but we carry our wipes, and we wipe wipe the fuel handle, wipe our buttons. You know, be germaphobes.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm ready. If the stew's ready.
All right. Well, we'll hit the button.
That was our interview.
We bored you for about
Half hour?
probably more.
I know.
Let's see if it's still filming. We were talking to nothing. We filmed for 46 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Say bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.